You're importing merchandise into the United States for your business. You've got your commercial invoice. You've got your packing list. You've got your shipping documents. But there's another requirement that many new importers don't understand: a customs bond. What is it? Why might you need one? How much does it cover? And does having a customs bond mean you've already paid your customs duties? In this video, we'll explain customs bonds in simple terms and show you where they fit into the U.S. import process. Before we dive in, let's take a look at the Freight and Trade Guide to Customs Bonds. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Freight and Trade. If you're interested in freight forwarding, international shipping, importing, exporting, logistics, customs, and global trade, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Let's start with the basic definition. A customs bond is a financial guarantee that helps ensure an importer or another party fulfills certain obligations to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, commonly known as CBP. Think of it as a promise backed by a surety company. The bond helps protect the government if the party responsible for the import transaction does not meet certain obligations. Those obligations can include paying duties, taxes, and fees when required, as well as complying with applicable customs requirements. Here's the important point. A customs bond is not the same thing as paying your customs duties. The bond provides financial security for certain obligations. It does not replace the duties, taxes, or fees that may actually be owed. So why does CBP require a customs bond in some situations? The basic idea is financial protection and compliance. When goods enter the United States, the government may be owed duties, taxes, and fees. There are also customs requirements that the importer must follow. A bond gives CBP financial security that certain obligations will be fulfilled. For example, if an importer has a formal entry that requires a bond, the bond helps secure the importer's obligations related to that entry. The exact bond requirements depend on the type of transaction and the circumstances of the import. So the important lesson is, don't assume every shipment uses exactly the same bond requirements. No, not every import shipment necessarily requires a customs bond. Many formal entries require a bond. CBP also explains that certain informal entries may not require a bond. For example, many informal entries valued at $2,500 or less may be cleared without a bond, although there are exceptions, and other requirements can apply. CBP can also require a formal entry in certain circumstances, even when the value alone might otherwise suggest an informal entry. So don't rely only on the dollar value. The type of merchandise, the entry type, and other circumstances can affect the requirements. For commercial importing, especially when you're importing regularly, it's important to determine the correct entry and bond requirements before the shipment arrives. So who actually gets the bond? The importer generally obtains the bond through a surety that is authorized to provide customs bonds. A customs broker can also help arrange the bond as part of the customs clearance process. The importer is generally the party whose obligations are being secured by the bond. This is why you may hear the terms importer of record and bond principle. In simple terms, the importer is responsible for meeting its customs obligations, while the surety provides the financial backing represented by the bond. There are different types of customs bonds. Two important ones for importers are single transaction bond and continuous bond. A single transaction bond generally covers a specific transaction. For a business that imports regularly, a continuous bond can be more convenient, but the right choice depends on the importer's circumstances. A customs broker or surety can help determine which type of bond is appropriate. But the right choice depends on the importer's circumstances. A customs broker or surety can help determine which type of bond is appropriate. Now you may be wondering, how much does a customs bond have to be? There isn't one universal amount for every importer. The amount depends on the type of bond and the circumstances of the transaction. For example, CBP states that a single entry bond is generally not less than the entered value, plus duties, taxes, and fees, subject to the applicable rules. For continuous bonds, CBP uses a different calculation based on duties, taxes, and fees from the relevant period. So don't assume that a customs bond simply costs a fixed percentage of the value of your shipment. The bond amount and the premium you pay for the bond are also two different things. Here's another common misunderstanding. A customs bond does not mean your customs duties are already paid. Let's say your imported merchandise has customs duties and other applicable charges. The bond provides financial security for certain obligations. It is not a prepaid account for customs duties. Think of it this way. Your duties are what you may owe. Your customs bond is the financial guarantee that helps secure certain obligations. Those are two different things. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine a company in Texas regularly imports commercial merchandise from Asia. The company is the importer of record. The shipment is entered into the United States under circumstances requiring a formal entry and bond. Before the shipment is cleared, the importer has the appropriate customs bond in place. The customs broker prepares and submits the required entry information. CBP processes the entry. The importer is responsible for paying the applicable duties, taxes, and fees. The customs bond provides the financial security required for the import transaction. Once the applicable customs requirements are satisfied and CBP releases the shipment, the cargo can continue through the normal delivery process. The important thing to remember is that the bond supports the customs process. It doesn't replace the customs process. A customs bond is important because it provides financial security if the party responsible for the transaction fails to meet certain obligations covered by the bond. For example, an importer may have obligations involving duties, taxes, fees, documentation, or other customs requirements. If the importer doesn't fulfill an obligation covered by the bond, the government may make a claim against the bond according to the applicable rules. That doesn't mean the importer simply walks away from the debt. The importer can still be responsible for amounts that are legally owed. The bond provides security. It is not insurance that eliminates the importer's responsibility. If you're new to importing, you may be wondering, do I have to arrange all of this myself? Not necessarily. Many importers use a licensed customs broker to help with the customs clearance process. A customs broker can help prepare and file entry information and may also assist with the customs bond process. A customs broker can also help arrange the bond as part of the customs clearance process. The importer is generally the party. You no longer have responsibility for the accuracy of your import information. The importer still has important responsibilities. That's why choosing a knowledgeable customs broker and providing accurate information is so important. Here are a few common mistakes to avoid. First, assuming every shipment requires the same type of bond. It doesn't. Second, thinking a customs bond is the same as paying duties. It isn't. Third, waiting until the shipment arrives to find out whether a bond is required. For applicable formal entries, you want the bond requirements addressed as part of your preparation. Fourth, assuming that using a customs broker means you no longer have responsibility for the accuracy of your import information. The importer still has important responsibilities. And finally, assuming that the bond amount is the same as the price you pay for the bond. They're not necessarily the same. To summarize, a customs bond is a financial guarantee that helps secure certain obligations connected with importing into the United States. Formal entries commonly require a bond, while some informal entries may not. Single transaction bonds generally cover a specific transaction, while continuous bonds can cover multiple transactions. And remember, a customs bond does not pay your duties for you. It provides financial security for certain customs obligations. If you're planning to import into the United States, understanding customs bonds is an important part of understanding the customs clearance process. And the earlier you determine what your shipment requires, the easier it can be to avoid last-minute delays. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. Subscribe to Freight and Trade for more simple explanations of freight forwarding, international shipping, importing, exporting, logistics, customs, shipping documents, and global trade. And don't forget to watch our other videos about customs brokers, freight releases, delivery orders, arrival notices, bills of lading, commercial invoices, packing lists, certificates of origin, and other important shipping topics. Each video is designed to help you build your freight and trade knowledge step by step. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep shipping, and keep your documents in order. This concludes our guide to customs bonds. We hope you found it helpful and informative for your U.S. import journey.